Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the King and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have some Chapter 18 changes for you guys. Pretty much, long story short, these are all of the changes that we spoke about in our video and most of the community has been speaking about that they would like to see coming on in with the new twins, the brand new killers for DBD. So we're going to go ahead, break this down, talk about everything right now. Before we do that, guys, we are literally so close to 100,000 subscribers. We're literally 2,000 subs away. So please consider subscribing down below. It'd be amazing if we can hit that very soon. We're also going to be having a bunch of cool things planned for 100K, so please consider subscribing down below. And if you think you are, please double check, because sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you. We're so close, and I would really appreciate it if you did hit that subscribe button. It literally takes one click, and it's free. Enough of me waffling about. Let's go ahead and talk about these Chapter 18 changes, which I'm sure you've clicked on the video for. So let's go ahead and read everything that they have wrote for us. It's been a little over a week since Chapter 18 hit the player test build, and we've prepared some changes based on the feedback we've received. We would like to make these changes clear before the chapter releases so you can make an informed decision about your purchase. As the release approaches, our time to make these changes are limited. As a result, some of the intended changes will arrive in future updates. Furthermore, please remember that there's a list of known issues available in the bottom of the PTB patch notes where they can be found here. Fixing some of these issues will alter the effectiveness of the twins and the perks in the process. Alrighty, here we go. On release, the twins made the map-wide sound when Victor is released clearer. So that is great. Now when you're playing Survivor, you're going to know when Victor is out and about, because for the most part, it was kind of like a guessing game. You just happen to see Victor running at you, and then there isn't much that you can do. So it's good to know that you now know when Victor is released. After being attached to a survivor for 45 seconds, Charlotte will see Victor's aura and be able to recall him. So this is a double right here, because normally you don't even know where Victor is. So if you opt in to chase the person, you have to find the person if they decide to take Victor hostage. And if they run something like object or anything like that, there isn't much that you can do. You also have the ability to recall him, so the person can hold Victor for 45 seconds, but then you can just recall him and then carry on with your day, which is pretty damn effective. So that takes care of the entire holding Victor hostage problem. For those of you guys that don't know what that was, essentially, players would keep Victor on their head and just leave it be. And if you didn't do a good job at catching the survivor, or you left them alone, you would be forced to become an M1 player. This was a pretty big issue, and although there were some workarounds such as cutting out the survivor and just getting Victor back, it forces you to be an M1 killer for the time being and to focus on one person that has Victor on their head rather than doing what you want to do as killer, essentially taking the game hostage. And it says sometimes the survivor would keep Victor on their back to prevent the killer from using their power. This way, there'll be a great risk of doing so, and the killer has the ability to forcefully regain their power after some time. So there you go. It sums up why they've done that. The next thing that they said was replace the springing top add-on effect. The add-on will now cause survivors to drop their items when pounced by Victor. So something similar to what we have with Leatherface when you use your chainsaw, and if you hit them, they drop their item. Now, if you're pounced down by Victor, you will drop your item. I don't really know what is the benefit of most of these things. Sometimes items do affect gameplay, but for the most part, unless it's a key, it doesn't really affect much of the gameplay. Maybe if you have a good flashlight saver, or if some team running some really insanely good healing builds, but this is just kind of a Reddit killer kind of thing. Next, it said increases Victor's movement speed while charging a pounce and increase the amount of time it takes to reach this movement speed. That is pretty awesome, so we'll have to see that. And then they say, due to the slow movement speed while pounce, hitting a survivor with Victor while they are around a small enough loop such object could be very difficult. These two changes will cause you to lose distance while charging your pounce, making it easier for those situations. Next, we have a perk change for coup de grace. Reduce the lunge increase from 60-80 to 100 to 40-50-60. That was crazy high in the PTB, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of like the Demogorgon clips and some of the other clips of how intense that can be. So now we can actually see what it's going to be like. It says the values of coup de grace on the PTB were higher than anticipated. We'll be reducing them to be more reasonable level. So now it won't be extremely crazy. Now it just maybe look like you got some lag. Here are some more fixes and updates from the hot patch. So we have the twins. Victor will be able to interact with lockers and hold a survivor inside for a short amount of time. If Charlotte interacts with the locker in time, she will grab the survivor. If the survivor is not grabbed at the locker in time, they will break free, killing Victor in the process. Perfect change. This is exactly what we've been talking about, with survivors jumping on into the locker and completely negating the power. And then it's up to you as Charlotte to run all the way back and to grab him. By the time that they just kick Victor, and there's not much you can do. So this is great. This is pretty much exactly what we said in our video, saying that Victor should be able to hold a locker and you have like a bear trap kind of escape thing. This one is going to be based on time, and that's going to be pretty damn awesome. And they said, they explained it here, during the PTB, survivors realize that they can jump on into a locker to avoid Victor since he is unusable to search lockers. To prevent this, we'll be giving Victor a unique interaction with lockers. This will take some animation work, however, so this will not be ready for the initial release. So this is going to take a while. It won't be our initial release, but it is something that's going to be coming. That is amazing. They're adding a delay to the exit gate blocker when a survivor is downed with Victor on their back. And it says currently the exit gate blocker disappears immediately if a survivor with Victor on their back is down. This allows them to crawl out before Charlotte can finish wiping her weapon. This delay ensures that the survivors can be picked up before the blocker disappears. So that is pretty awesome. Now you'll actually have a chance, if you make a tactical play right at the end of the game, to get that survivor if you knock them down. They then go on to talk about some perk changes, and specifically for appraisal, they said the speed bonus no longer applies to unlocking a chest, only rummaging. Appraisal, each chest can only be rummaged once per survivor. This change prevents someone from rummaging the same chest multiple times, creating a large pile of items. We want to encourage people to move around the map and rummage different chests. The overall number of times of rummage is unchanged. So I guess that's okay. I kind of like the speed boost that was there, and you could combine it to make it insanely awesome, but sadly, you can't do that anymore. The first part of it, I get they want you to go around the map and things like that, but it's just making a perk that was kind of meh, just less meh, or more meh, I should say. It's a perk that I don't see won't be run at all and just left to be. And then they said, again, we want to reiterate, these changes are tentative. The exact details and times of these changes may vary from the list above. We hope these changes address any concerns you may have had, and we can't wait to get your hands on Chapter 18. So there we go. Those are all of the changes that we are going to be receiving for Chapter 18. Overall, I think these changes are pretty damn good. We have all of the killer changes that we did need. I know there was a lot of people saying that, you know, the new killer's weak, the new killer's strong. I said it's a little bit too early to determine, but if I had to put them in a position, they're fun. They're in the middle. They're not super overpowered. They're not super weak. You know, just because you lose every game or just because you 4K every game doesn't necessarily mean that the killer is good or the killer is bad. It just means you don't play it right or you play it really well. Once, you know, time goes on and everybody gets their hands to play as and against, it'll become more of set in stone of where the killer would rank among. But I think these changes are the changes that needed to come on out. These are buffs, essentially balance changes that make the killer much more viable, and the things that really made the killer weak because of what I would consider a little shady are now fixed and more reasonable. So now we can have some more detailed statistics on how the twins perform, and I'm excited to see when they're going to be coming out. Now, normally 3 weeks from the PTB is when we expect these DLCs to drop. However, they are telling us about these changes pretty early. Normally when they give us information, the following week is when we get some stuff. So we could expect this chapter as early as next Tuesday. If not, it can go on into the early weeks of December. No ETA from the devs or nothing solid in stone confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt. But that, my friends, is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe for some more DBD content. We're so close to 100K, guys. Please subscribe. Leave a like. As I said, share with your friends. And as always, I'm the king. I tip my crowns to you guys, and we'll see you in the fall.